Andrew, first to you. Never has a debate really been so important given Dutton's falling fortunes. How do you see how tonight went?
Well, I thought Peter Dutton was a clear winner, and I think that was pretty meritorious given the situation with his father. I've got to say, though, that coming into the debate, I did predict this. He had a lot to work with on the cost of living front, and there were a couple of good hits from Peter Dutton on the Prime Minister. There was one or two decent hits on the other side. So, for example, he was ready for the Medicare card stump, wasn't he? That was clear. They'd planned it. All right, well, do you use your Medicare card and your credit card? So what's all this about? That was a good hit. But then Albanese says, well, hang on. When you were health minister, you tried to put a $7 fee, which I'd briefly forgotten about. Of course, I know that.
Yes.
During that 2014 budget. It was that 2014 budget they didn't really explain that was coming back to sort of haunt the opposition leader a bit, just like Scott Morrison last time tried to haunt Anthony Albanese with some of the misdeeds of the Labor government. But generally, I think Peter Dutton, I think it's probably the best performance I've ever seen from Peter Dutton, to be quite frank with you, Sharri.
That's a big call. Certainly the best performance this campaign.
I think it is the best performance I've seen from Peter Dutton, and he needed it for his campaign. And from what occurred in terms of his father, that, as I say, that was all the more meritorious. The only concern for the coalition, Sharri, is those undecided voters' questions all went to areas of strength. A lot of them went to areas of strength for the government, right? So a lot of them were on health, which the government is prosecuting, and there was a question on Donald Trump, and that shows why Peter Dutton has the job ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. Ben English, bringing you in now. What were the key takeouts for you? And I want to specifically as well ask you about that question from the driver, the undecided voter who's a driver, who said, well, this petrol tax cut just makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that was a great moment for Dutton. Actually, it was the first pro-coalition question that came about. The first three were very much in Albanese's camp, and we're starting to wonder about the composition of the undecided voters. But
of your own forum, Ben.
Of my own forum. There might be a few inquiries, but with the fellow who was the driver owner, that was right in his wheelhouse, and Dutton leaned into it, and it was probably an uncomfortable moment for Albanese, because what it highlighted was that Dutton's offering immediate relief, and it's relief that courses through the economy. And I thought Dutton was very good at explaining that. I don't think he has properly up until now, but he actually crystallised that not only is it actually for you at the petrol pump, but it's also for the farmers, it's for the businesses, and it actually is an anti-inflationary device. So very effective.